Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mack with 5 good news stories. Now, last week, I had the pleasure of going up to Burlington, Vermont and witnessing the total eclipse. It was amazing. If you want to hear my adventure there, check out the podcast Travel is Back and look up the Burlington episode, and you'll hear me looking at the eclipse. At Ohio Town, had a big eclipse palooza. They had a big party that saw 130 couples get married or renew their vows in the 3-minute 54 seconds that the moon covered the sun. Officials hosted the free event. It was called Elope at the Eclipse. They were hoping to get about 25 couples. Instead, 150 registered. There was a judge, a live singer, goodie bags, as you would want at your eclipse wedding, a reception hall for dancing, beverages for the first toast, a photographer, and personalized wedding cakes to registered participants. All you had to do was show up with the proper paperwork and your guests. People did show up. They had lawn chairs, t-shirts. Some people wore a traditional white wedding dress. One couple told the Detroit Free Press, "They thought of everything. It's a once-in-a-lifetime for us," and it pushed out positive energy. This is amazing. This next story is straight out of Gilligan's Island. Did you see this? 3 men who were stranded on a remote Pacific island for more than a week. They spelled out help using palm leaves, like you see in movies and specifically Gilligan's Island's episodes. It actually worked. The men were found on Pikelot, an uninhabited island about 100 miles northwest of their home. They had set sail from an island that's part of the Federated States of Micronesia. Their boat, a 20-foot open skiff powered by an outboard motor. The search began when a woman sent out a distress call to the Coast Guard, reporting that her 3 uncles hadn't come home after almost a week away. The Coast Guard embarked on a search. Pikelot is a tiny dot, it's described as, in the Pacific Ocean, covered in palm trees and bushes, measuring less than 2,000 feet in length. Lieutenant Chelsea Garcia coordinated the search and said, in a remarkable testament to their will to be found, the mariners spelled out help on the beach using palm leaves, a crucial factor in their discovery. The aircraft crew sent survival packages to help the men before the Coast Guard dropped them a radio a day later. Guess it takes a minute to get there. Eventually, the USCGC Oliver Henry arrived at the island and picked up the men to bring them home. The commander of the Oliver Henry, Lieutenant Ray Serrato, said it's incredibly rewarding to see the faces of those we've helped. Looks like good news here on the cancer front. I was reading about this in the Washington Post. There's a new blood test called Galeri. This new type of test analyzes substances in the blood that might indicate cancer. The test may be especially useful in finding silent cancers such as pancreatic or ovarian cancer, which often don't cause symptoms until the disease is advanced and more difficult to treat. Eric Klein is a scientist at the company that developed Galeri and says it opens up a whole new world. It's the unmet need we face in cancer. The new blood tests measure cancer signals, which are biological substances shed by cancers, such as fragments of tumor DNA. Some can even identify the organ or tissue involved. Wow. Now, to be clear, the tests don't diagnose cancer. A positive result will probably lead to you getting more tests or biopsies. Nor are the tests yet ready to replace standard screening tests like a colonoscopy or mammography, but are meant to complement them. Anyway, this is super cool. Good news for a Labrador retriever. He had failed to become a drug-sniffing dog. Why? He was too friendly and playful. Well, he's won hearts across Taiwan for his detection work in the aftermath of the recent 7.4 magnitude earthquake. Roger the dog was helping to locate some people. He and his handlers ventured into the Shakadang Trail of the heavily damaged Tarako National Park. Roger was born into a training center for drug-sniffing dogs, but his love for fun, food, and people got the better of him, distracting his ability to pay attention. But that made him a better candidate to be a rescue dog. Chen Chi-sun is captain of the rescue dog unit and said, "I'm not saying he wasn't good or he didn't get along with others, but the requirement for narcotic detection dogs is they can't be too restless and independent. But that's what we want in rescue dogs." But as great as Roger is at being a rescue dog, he's going to retire soon. Rescue dogs retire at age 9. Good news if you're ever attacked by a cow. Andrew Childs wrote a funny piece in The Guardian explaining what to do. Childs tells us one expert suggested it's important to work out whether the advancing cow is angry or merely curious. Its ears being at 10 to 2 or an indication of the former, meaning the cow is angry. And I don't know about this advice. Childs says if he's ever attacked by a cow, he'll whip his coat off, wave it about, and start yelling out in Spanish. And if that doesn't work, he'll just acknowledge it's his unlucky day. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. I'm choking because I laughed there at the end. If you enjoy the program, tell a friend. They might like it too. You can rate and review 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And thank you, Apple Podcasts, for promoting the show for several weeks. It has really grown the program. If you're a new listener, welcome and thank you. And I will mention I do host another podcast called Daily Comedy News, where I talk about stand-up comedy 7 days a week. That show is fun in a different way. All right, have a great day.